Hello everyone, back to Bukkit. Now when we last left off, Bukkit has had some pretty major changes, and a lot of that's because Minecraft has made changes which then breaks Bukkit. And of course when Bukkit goes through revisions to their Bukkit server, it affects your batch files that run Bukkit. So people get a lot of confusion on all this. So what I've tried to do is I've written a program that will fix this for you. We're going to go to my website, www.hillsoftware.com. And when we get there, we're going to go to the crew files section. And we're going to scroll down, and you can see I have a program called getbukkit version 0.4. We're going to download it. Very tiny file. It takes literally just a few seconds. Once we've got it, we got to run that program because this is a self-extracting archive. Now, with Google Chrome, I can just click it here. It's going to ask me if I want to run it, and I'm going to say yes. All right, so here's my installer. Now, just so you know, I don't have any real strict license agreement on this, but I do basically say that you run this at your own risk. By clicking accept here, you agree that I'm not liable if it would cause any problems on your system. I don't believe it will, but you run this at your own risk, and you do so when you accept the terms and extract the archive. So I'm going to hit accept, and you can see here it gives you a little brief instructions on how to install it. But basically what you want to do is you want to set this destination folder to some folder on your system. Now, I recommend you just do it this way. You can always move the files later, but go to your desktop and just make a new folder, and let's just call it Bukkit. And then let's click OK, and you can see now we've set to go to our desktop Bukkit, hit install, and there we go. Alright, so here we can see on our desktop we have our Bukkit folder. Now we're going to go in there, and you can see we have my program, getbukkit. We have a README file, which you can peruse through at your own leisure. And then we have a wget, which is a GNU-based utility that I use to actually retrieve the files from the internet for you. So my program uses wget to grab the files. So all you have to do, if you want to run a Bukkit server, is just run getbukkit. Now you can see here it comes up, tells you you're running version 0.4 by me. Use it at your own risk. It's downloading Bukkit. This can take 10 to 15 seconds depending on how great of an internet connection you have. It might take longer if you have a slow connection. So you can see here it says Bukkit file downloaded equals craftbukkit-1.1-R4. Now if they change to a new version and it's R5 or R6, my program always gets the latest version. Once it does that, it looks at this file name and it generates the run.batch file for you, or the go.bat I should say, that actually is set up for that file name. Now also here you can see it says your internet routable IP is, and it gives you your IP. Now this is a bogus IP here. This is not real. I've done this so that you can't see my IP. But the IP that you see here when you run this program is going to be the IP that you would give your buddies so that they could connect to your server from their homes. Now, be aware that you do have firewall issues, and I do have videos that talk about how to set up your firewall. So, but that's, beside the point here. So, but I give you that IP. Now, the next thing you can see, it asks, would you like to make any users ops? And it asks yes or no. I'm going to say yes, and I'm going to put my name in. And then it wants to know if you want to make another user op. You can just say no here, or you can say yes, and we'll say yes, and let's make Lizzie an op. And then we'll say no that after this because we're done. We only wanted to add the two ops. We hit in and it says press any key to continue. We're done. Now if you look here, we have a go.batch file, and let's just edit it real quick, and here you can see it, and it's actually pointing to the correct CraftBukkit file. And we have an ops file which has my name and Lizzie's names, our Minecraft names. So we are set. Now also you can see a text file called yourip.txt. That shows that real world IP, that routable internet IP. I put it in a text file just in case you may want to come back and look at it, in case you forgot it. So all of that's that, and all we have to do now to run Bukkit is just double click the go.bat, and you can see our server is starting up. We've created a Bukkit server. You actually didn't do anything except download my program, run it, and then run the resulting go.batch file, and you're done. Now we'll skip through the server starting up here because it's really not that important for this video. Alright, so we see our server. We've got all of our files for our server. We still have our utility files that came from the original. Now I don't recommend you delete these. I recommend just leave them in here. And let me tell you why. you've got Craft Bukkit here, R4, which actually just came out yesterday, as of my recording of this video. So 2 days ago, the current version of Bukkit was Craft Bukkit 1.1-R3. Now that R4s came out, you're going to want to update. So how could you do that? Well, let's just assume that we had 2 days ago, we had the R3 version. And let's assume that this batch file was set up to run that one. So if a new Bukkit come out, all we have to do is just rerun getbukkit. And it's going to download the latest version, and it's going to rewrite the go.bat file for the proper name. So that's all you have to do whenever a new version of Bukkit comes out. Now here it's asking if we want to make any users ops. Since we've already done that, I'm going to say no, because if you do say yes, you have to put the users in again. It overwrites the old file. So we'll just say no, and then we're done. Here you can see we have our 1.1-R3, and then down here is our 1.1-R4. So anytime anything changes with Bukkit, just rerun getbukkit, and it'll do the latest download, and it'll update the batch file for it. Now there's one other trick you can do, and what we're going to do is I'm going to bring up a DOS prompt. I'm going to go to my desktop, and I'm going to go to the Bukkit server. You can also run my program and specify command line options, and we have -I, -B, and -O. So if I say -I, getbukkit will come up and show me our internet routable IP. Now I can also do a -O for ops, and I can put ops in. And we can also do just the getbukkit -B, and that'll have it download the latest version of Bukkit. So if you're a command line junkie, you can use this method to do things step by step. Now if you just run getbukkit by itself like that, or double click it like we showed earlier, it will do the latest version of Bukkit, determine what your IP is, and then it will ask you about the op status. So it does all of them for you. You can also do double commands. You could say that. You could actually do this too, which is the equivalent of just running it. But you can specify any combination of the 3 command line options. So that gives you another option if you want to do something manually yourself. But honestly, just run the getbukkit program. So that's pretty much how it works. If you have any problems with it, feel free to send me a private message or on our forum, on YouTube, and let me know, and I'll try to iron it out. If there are any changes to Bukkit that break things, I will try to do an update to this program. And I'm going to do some more videos where I install plugins, and I also am going to add some more capability to this program so that when you first run it, not only will it get Bukkit, tell you your IP, set your ops file up for you, but set up the permissions plugin and set up World Edit, World Guard, and a few of those must-have type plugins. And it'll give you the option to say yes or no to some of them if you're not interested in every single one of them. But I'm going to try to make this program do some of the basics to get you not only just a working Bukkit server, but a working Bukkit server with some common needed plugins. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. One other quick little thing I will show you. If you're the kind of person that wants to do things yourself and you don't want to use my program, go to the Bukkit website, bukkit.org. Click on their Craft Bukkit link. You can see it's going to download that same file that we downloaded earlier. Now you can go to the Get Craft Bukkit link here and scroll down, and this batch file right here is basically what I'm kind of using, or basically what I am using, honestly. But you can see it's got the wrong file name here, so you have to substitute the proper file name. Or if you don't want to mess with this batch file, just go to my website, go back to the crew files, and come down here and download my run.bat. And then what you can do is let's go find those files. Here's the two we just downloaded. Let's cut those away from there, and let's just create a new folder here on the desktop, and we'll just call it Bukkit 2. Put those two files in here and just run the run.bat. Say yes, and your server's starting. So that's an easy way for you to do it too if you don't want to use my program. So just go to the Bukkit website, download Bukkit, go to my website, download the batch file, and you can see here it says it's only for version R4, but I've actually just changed that, so the website will be updated by the time you see this. But this batch file is only good for the version I have listed, and as releases of Bukkit are done, I'll have to update this batch file that you would use. So I recommend using getbukkit if you want to make things brain dead simple, but you can do the other method too. So hopefully that helps you guys getting Bukkit working, and I look forward to hearing what you have to say about getbukkit, and I'll be making more changes to it, and let me know if you have any questions, problems, or any thoughts for new features for it. See you guys later.